So I go to the ENT, which was probably the beginning of March. So I've been suffering with this since November, on and off every 5 weeks as a cycle. So I explain everything to the ENT. And this will be a whole thing. I will talk about what to expect at the ENT when you do go and get an endoscopy done, which is what I ended up having. The procedure itself, how it felt, what they do prior to you getting the procedure, things of that nature, just to put you at ease. It's not as bad as people make it out to be at all. It depends on how sensitive you are as a person, and how much you can tolerate as far as what the procedure entails. It's a very quick procedure. So I will talk about that more in the next video. But just leading up to that, the symptoms that I had going into this were very troublesome and something I never experienced before. So going to the ENT, I get the endoscopy, and the ENT tells me, which I kind of figured, I have a deviated septum because I constantly always had postnasal drip going down, that I was constantly clearing out of my throat, and it was getting a lot worse throughout the process last year of all this happening. And I thought, well, this is just something I'm going to have to live with. But I soon learned after that, when he went further down with the scope, my throat looked like a horror movie inside. It was all red and inflamed. I had tissues that were swollen. I had tissues that looked bloody and red with red spots. It looked like a war was inside my throat, which is what it felt like for all these months. And then he went further down and showed me another picture, and it looked like my esophagus. It looked like a drain pipe, but that Drano came up and ate so much into that drain pipe and eroded it away. And you can actually see a line where the acid came up and it stopped and then went back down. So he said, this explains a lot. You have LPR, which is laryngeal, it's very hard to say it, laryngopharyngeal reflux. And if I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me, but this is what I ended up having. So after I got diagnosed with this, I also got diagnosed with Reinke's edema, and he showed me that my vocal fold, it was swollen, and he said this was probably from smoking, and it probably happened over a long period of time. But whatever happened with my throat when I got sick, it set all this off in a chain of events and caused all this to come and notice all at once. So the Reinke's edema affects the vocal cords and what they call the Reinke space of the throat, of the vocal box area. And what it is like a little gel-like fluid that fills up in your vocal fold and causes them to vibrate differently, which you'll hear people that have smoked for a long time maybe sound extremely hoarse, or their voice changes and sounds deeper, more masculine. That is a lot of what Reinke's edema would kind of be. But besides that, it's very uncomfortable, and it causes you to feel like you're hoarse all the time, or that your voice is being strained. So when you talk for long periods of time, it gets very tiring in your throat. And I'm a person that used communication my whole life to do my job. I was a hairdresser for over 20 years, and I have the gift of gab. I love communication. I love talking. So this really, it really was traumatic for me. Not just physically, but mentally as well, because this was going to mean a whole lifestyle change for me. So what the ENT told me to do was go home, start changing my diet up. So I had to change my diet. I had to change my lifestyle, quitting smoking, things of that nature, doing more healthy things again. So everything was about to change along with my health as I knew it for a very prolonged period of time, and I'm still going through it. So it was very mentally taxing as well as physically taxing, but I'm learning better to cope with it. So I am going to talk more in depth about what happened at the ENT visit with the endoscopy. This is a very long process, and there is so much to it. And I want you to know that if you're suffering with this, you're not alone. I did a lot of research on it after I went home from the ENT to learn about LPR and Reinke's edema, what I can do to try to heal it. Because when I did get diagnosed with this, the ENT, the first thing they did was want to which is the most aggressive course of action to stop the acid from damaging your throat, is to put you on a very high dose of stomach antacids, so PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, and H2 blockers, which is like histamine blockers to reduce the acid in your stomach. Doing so can also cause a lot of other side effects that I was worried about. So I started looking into a lot of more natural ways to also combat this so that I wouldn't open up a new can of worms and start a new problem up that I currently didn't have that I would have to recover from as well. So I'm going to go into that and talk about all of this. And I ask you to please be patient and stick with me through each video because they are kind of long, but if you're going through this or know somebody that is, all this information is going to be very valuable for you. And you can share with me too. You might say, hey, I tried this, but it didn't work so well for me. This I tried instead. So I encourage positive feedback, positive criticism. No mean or shaming or hating, please, because this is a health condition and it is meant to be a platform for people to be able to support one another and bring awareness and help. So I encourage that very much. So please be patient, stick around, and let's go through this journey together and see how we can help more people in the world that have the same problem. So I am going to come back and talk about more in depth about the ENT visit, what to expect when you get an endoscopy if you're not sure what they did for me. Again, I am going to say this again. I am in no way, shape, or form a medical doctor, nurse, professional. So the information I'm giving you is through my own learning and life experience. It is in no way meant to override what the doctor's orders are for you or what professional medical advice is telling you. But this is also another perspective to consider and look at and may help you to be able to work along with your doctors to be able to give yourself the best care possible. So stick around and come back in the next video and we'll talk about what to expect when you get an endoscopy.